Okay, good evening. I know some of you already started answering the third module for Research 1. The module that you received is actually good for 2 weeks. So you can work on that module for week number 3 and week number 4. Okay, so you'll be submitting your answer sheets next week during the scheduled module distribution and retrieval of answer sheets. Okay. Anyway, the topic for Research 1 is all about measurement. So, as to your weekly home learning plan, these are the activities that are expected for you to actually accomplish for 2 weeks, in 2 weeks time. So that is week number 3 and week number 4. Okay. First, you need to begin reading the introductory paragraph about measurement, and then after that, you need to answer activity number 2.2, which is entitled "Accuracy of a Ruler." Also, you need to read the discussion on how to compute for the area and volume of a shape, since yun nga, we're dealing with measurement. And then after that, answer self-test 2.2, wherein you need to show your complete solutions. Okay? And then afterwards, read the lesson about conversion of units. And after the discussion in terms of the conversion of units, you are to answer series of activities: activity 3.1, 3.2, self-test 3.1, and self-test 4.1. And lastly, you can write in, if you have your research notebook, the important concepts you have understood in that module. Okay, so you can take down notes. As for our learning targets for week number 3 and week number 4, first you need to determine the importance of measurement in research or in an investigatory project. Second, convert measurement from a given unit to what we call the desired unit. And then lastly, compute for area and volume of a given shape or a figure. Now, we are still on the topic. Actually, this is still related on the basic science process. Okay, so previously you have learned about observations. Okay, that there are things that around us that we take for granted. Diba? So just like what I had mentioned previously, let's say if you will be asked to describe your favorite school bag, most likely you can describe its general physical appearance, right? But not the exact size and the materials used in that object. So actually this is still the extension of the previous topic. Okay, so wherein you need to somewhat understand the scientific processes. Okay, wherein the scientific processes include measuring, computing, inferring, generalizing, and drawing conclusions. So with that, it is mentioned here that you also need that skill in measuring. Okay, when we speak of measuring, it should be accurate in that case. Okay, so there will be activities in this module that can enhance your basic science process, particularly in measuring. Okay, since our topic here for module 3 is more on measurement. Now, the development of science process starts from the very simple process of observing, right? So that's actually the focus of our last 2 modules. Okay, wherein it involves a complicated process of experimenting. Okay, now some processes like measuring, computing, predicting, and interpreting data will help you develop your mathematical skills. Okay, so therefore in research or in dealing with investigatory project, you will also need that skill. okay, that mathematical skill, okay, because there are points or areas in research wherein you will be using mathematics, okay, or the language of math, okay. So you will be performing activities here that will enhance your mathematical skills, okay. So let's proceed. Okay, the first activity in your module is entitled Accuracy of a Ruler. Okay, so as you can see, there is this figure in your module. That's a ruler, right? Wherein you can see here several lines. So you can also get your own ruler and try to compare it to the drawing. Okay. Now, compare its calibration with the illustration given below. So, as you can see in this figure, we have a 0, which is our starting point. Okay? So, any device naman, it starts with 0. If you have your meter stick, okay, or you have your weighing scale, okay, that 0 is very significant. Okay? So, that's the starting point. So, a unit here is centimeter. Okay? So, ano pa yung mga ma-observe natin dito? So, meron tayong several lines. So, we're in the distance between 0 and 1. How many lines can you actually see here? Okay? So, all observations na note mo in this illustration should be written in this part. Okay? So, kindly write that in your answer sheet, all observations that you can see in this illustration. It's your own personal observations. Okay? Now, how many smaller lines are there in 1 centimeter? Okay? So, take note. Here is a centimeter. So, where is that 1 centimeter? So, that is from this point up to that point. So, how many smaller lines are there in 1 centimeter? Okay? Now, one line is equal to 1 millimeter. So, for example, we have here from this point up to this point, that's 1 millimeter, right? So, how many millimeters are there in 1 centimeter? That's actually the question number 2. So, you need to answer that based on, of course, your knowledge about measurement, and of course, your observation on this illustration. Okay? Now, look at your ruler again. That's for the third item. What is the smallest length that your ruler could measure? Okay? So, ano ba yung pinaka-maliit na measure ng length na pwedeng maibigay sa atin ng ruler? So, that's question number 3. Now, that will lead us to understand the concept of length, right? Now, length is actually the distance between 2 points. So, from, let's say, for this, from one point to another point, okay? So, the distance between those 2 points is known as the length. So, it varies depending on the magnitude of the distance between the 2 points. Now, width, height, and thickness are also the measured distance between the 2 points, okay? So, they are similar in a way na we are actually measuring the distance between 2 points, okay? So, the area and the volume of regularly shaped solids are measured using any devices for length, right? Okay? So, therefore, it's very essential that you need to be familiarized with how you measure the length, okay? Not only length, but also the width, the thickness, and the height of a certain object, okay? So, now, let's say if the solid is rectangular in shape. So, how do you draw a rectangular or a rectangular shape? Okay, so its area is found by getting the product and width. Okay, so that is area is equal to length times width. Okay, so take note. Okay, take note of this formula. This is the formula for the area of a rectangle. Okay, So we're in, the formula naman for the volume is, you need to get the product among the length, the width, and the thickness. That is, V is equal to length times width times thickness. So, the difference between the two is that ito, area, it involves two, right? Or two measures, the length and the width. On the other hand, volume, it involves three measures, wherein we now account another dimension, which is the thickness. Okay, so therefore area is two-dimensional and then volume is three-dimensional. Okay, so the final answer for the measured area and volume is based on the minimum number of significant digits required. Okay, so therefore in science, diba, you need also to be acquainted with significant figures. Okay, so kapag hinihingi yung ilan yung significant figures ng isang measurement, yun dapat yung ibibigay mo. Okay? Therefore, rounding of numbers to a certain place value apply. So therefore, just your in basic math, you need also to be you need also that skill in rounding numbers to a certain place value. Okay? So let's have here an example wherein you are asked to compute for the area of a metal block with 4.7 millimeter long and then 3.1 millimeter wide. Okay? Okay, so take note, those are the given. Since we're asked to find the area, we know that, okay, meron itong dalawang given. Since two-dimensional naman ang area, so you just simply multiply or get the product of the two. That in the case of 4.7 millimeter times 3.1 millimeter. Okay? So if you will multiply, okay, kung i-multiply natin yung dalawang figures na yan, that 4.7 and 3.1, the answer is 4.57. Okay, and the unit now is square millimeter. Okay, so that is millimeter times millimeter. That gives us square millimeter. Okay, so take note, we have here an exponent of 2, since again area is two-dimensional. Okay, so take note that na-round off itong 14.57 to 14.6. Why is that so? Okay, because take note, the given are expressed in tenths. Tama? So, nasa tenths yung place value or naka-round off siya in nearest tenths. So, therefore, kung ilan yung decimal place, okay, ng given natin, yun din yung ibibigay natin dito. So, therefore, the final answer is 14.6 square millimeter. Okay? Because the 7 here, okay, this is greater than 5, right? So, therefore, itong 5 na to, we will add 1. Okay? And the 7 will be neglected in that case. Okay? So, that's how you compute for the area of the rectangle or that metal block in that case. You know, there are other formulas here. Okay, so other examples were provided in your module, just study them. So in the first case, you have the formula for the area of a rectangle, which is reiterated in this case. Okay, so we have 3.6, that's 1.8, multiply that 2, that will give us 6.48. Since the unit is centimeter, it's the unit here is also centimeter, so our final unit for the area is square centimeter. Okay, so we also round this number to the nearest tenths. That will give us 6.5 square centimeter as our final answer. Okay, so take note that the unit for the length and the width should be the same, okay, because you cannot get their product immediately. Okay, and then regard them as to the computation for the area. Okay, so because the first step that you need to carry out is for you to make the units the same po. So kung ito centimeter, ito millimeter, hindi siya pwedeng i-multiply kaagad. Okay? But in this case, we have similar unit. That's why meron tayong answer na 6.5 square centimeter. Now, as in the case of the square naman, wherein we have, diba, square is defined as we have 4 equal sides. Okay? Since this one is equal to this side, also to this side and to this side, they are equal. Okay? They have 4 equal sides. Therefore, the length and the width have equal measures. Okay? So if this is, let's say, 2, this side is also 2. Okay? So if this is 4, this side is also 4. Because that's the characteristic of a square. They have equal sides. So therefore, just multiply the two sides. Again, since we're dealing with area, so 2 times 2, the result is 4. Both have centimeter unit, so the answer is 4 square centimeter. Now, the area of this circle, okay, so that is equal. I know some of you are already familiarized with this concept back in your elementary, but we need also to somewhat revisit this concept, okay, because these are essential concepts. So the area of the circle is pi r squared, okay, wherein pi is equal to a rounded value of 3.14, okay, while the radius is half of that diameter. So meaning to say, if in the problem the given is diameter, you need to divide that into 2, okay, to compute for the area, because kailangan yung radius, not the diameter. Okay, so this is the formula now for the circle. Okay, so for example, we are to solve the area of the circle with the diameter of 100 millimeters. So you take note, the given is 100 millimeters. So therefore, you need to divide this into 2 because yun na nga, half ng diameter, okay, yung radius. Kaya meron tayo ditong 50 millimeter. Okay, where do we get this 3.14? Because that's the constant value for the pi, and in that case, that's 3.14. Okay, so ito naman 2, that's actually part of the formula, because the formula is pi r squared. Okay, so if you will try to calculate this using a calculator, of course, we can have the value of 7,850 millimeter or square millimeter. Okay, so the unit is square millimeter. Okay, so that's how we compute for the area of a circle. Now, what about the volume of the objects? For the volume of the object, since it's 3-dimensional, as I have said in the previous slide, we will account now the height of the object. We are not just limited with the length and the width. So here, we have 3 values that we need to get a product. That's the length, the width, and the height. Same as with the area, you need also to make their units the same, okay, before you get their product. Say for instance, we have here the problem, find the volume of a rectangular block 4.7 millimeter long, 3.1 millimeter wide, and 0.9 millimeter thick, or has this thickness. Okay, since we have 3 values that are given, you just need to multiply them. Okay, but before that, inspect their units. Since we have the same units, wala na tayong problema. And in that case, mag-substitute na lang tayo. Get the product of the 3, that will give us 13.113. Okay, so but here take note that the place value is also, we have only one place value. Okay, so therefore our final answer is 13.1. Okay, now as to the unit, since we are now in the volume, 3-dimensional siya, so millimeter times millimeter times millimeter, that will give us cubic millimeters. So the final answer in this problem is 13.1 cubic millimeter. Okay, so that's how we compute for the volume of a rectangle. Now, we also have objects like cube and the cylinder, but in this case, we have different formula since we're dealing with different shapes. Okay, for the cube, that is s raised to 3, or that's side times side times side. Now, for the volume of cylinder, okay, we have this formula wherein the volume is equal to pi r squared h. Okay, so we need to account for the radius and the height and multiply that with the value for pi, which is 3.14. Okay, aside from that, you also need to remember that aside from the volume and the area, meron pa tayong other measures, okay? Like the mass. Kasi importante din pag-aralan yung mass when you are doing this investigatory project or your research in science, okay? So the mass of an object is measured using beam, platform, or other beam balances, okay? So since we're now in modular, we cannot actually anong tawag dyan? Have this hands-on activity in terms of measuring the mass of the object, okay? So ito yung nawawala sa modular ngayon. Wala tayong actual activities. But the accuracy of the mass of an object is based on the less count the device could give. Of course, yung mass naman ng object, magdedepende siya sa ginamit mong device, okay? Because there are devices na will give us very accurate measurement, okay? And there are devices naman na some sort of that will only give us a rough estimate of that mass, okay? For example, the platform balance. So itong yung platform balance, ito yung common na makikita natin sa anong tawag dyan, sa laboratory, okay? So parang it's a device used to measure, okay, the mass of the object. Take note, mass is different from weight, ha? Because weight, it has a factor of gravity, but mass, it's an intrinsic property. So I mean to say, it depends on the object itself, but without the factor of gravity. So at least count of tenth of a gram, that's the final answer for the measurement, is up to 1 decimal place of a gram. So therefore, if we have this particular situation wherein we're asked to compute for the mass of the object, okay, kailangan natin siyang express in 1 decimal of a gram, okay, especially if we are using a platform balance. For example, what is the total mass of the object if the readings of the riders in the platform balance show 15.0 grams and 4.3 grams respectively? Okay, so very simple problem because you are asked only to get the total mass. Okay, when we're asked to get the total, we simply add all the given, right? In this case, we have two given, that's 15.0 and 4.3. So the result therefore is 19.3 grams. Okay, that's how we account for the mass of the object. Very basic, right? Okay, I hope you can still follow. So now for the self-test 2.2, you have here 5 items, okay? So for numbers 1 and 2, you're asked to get the area and the volume of a rectangular box with a measurement of 25 by 10 by 5. That's length times width times height. Take note, area and volume are different, okay? Go back to the discussion wherein the area is simply length times width, okay? While volume, that is length times width times height, okay? So you may use this formula for numbers 1 and 2. For number 3, now the diameter of a circle is 10 cm. Compute for its area. Take note that the given is diameter, okay? What is given, the formula that was provided in the previous slide is its radius. So you need to divide the diameter, okay, into 2 for you to get the radius. And that's only the time that you can substitute that for the formula for the area. For number 4, what is the side of the square of its area is 16 square centimeter? Take note, we're talking about a square and we have an equal side. If the area is 16, what will be its side? Ano ito? Ano ito? Okay? So take note, side should be equal. All sides of the square should be equal. So therefore, kung ano itong side na to, ito din. So kung anong answer mo sa isang side, ito din. So hindi pwedeng itong side na to ay 2 cm to. Itong side na to 3. Okay? So 2 times 3, that is 6, right? For example, this is 2 and this is 8. So 2 times 8, that is 16. But take note, the two numbers should be the same because we are dealing with square. Now, as for number 5, we have here the mass of the 3 books with 2.5 kilogram. Now, what is the total mass in grams? Okay, so take note, what is asked here is the mass in grams. So, how do you do that? Of course, we need to apply the way we convert unit to another unit. Okay, so para din yan, ano diba? Bigas. For every kilogram, 1 kilogram of rice, how many grams are there? That is 1,000. Okay? So 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So that's how you will do self-test 2.2. So we now proceed to another part. Okay? For the conversion of units, this is now the continuation of what I have said a while ago. Okay, so as part of your learning target is for you to understand how you convert one measurement to another measurement. Okay, so but before you compute, okay, before you perform any computation, make sure that the values given are of the same units. I keep on saying this, right? Na dapat importante na ma-express natin sila sa parehas na units. So therefore, kapag hindi pareho, kailangan natin i-convert. Okay. Okay? So we should convert any of the 2 or more values using a conversion factor. Okay? That will have the same unit. The conversion factor is the equivalent of 1 unit in another unit. Okay? It is expressed in fraction form. For example, if 10 millimeter is 1 centimeter, that is in the case of diba, yung previous na activity natin sa 1.1, you may write the conversion factor using any of the following forms. Okay? So, pwedeng ganito yung itsura. Okay? That is 1 centimeter per 10 millimeter. Or pwede din baliktad, that's 10 millimeter per 1 centimeter. So you can reverse actually, okay, depending on the convenience or the purpose yung gamit. Okay, so take note, we will understand more on that as we proceed now with more examples. Okay, now convert 125 millimeter to centimeter. Okay, so, paano ba natin i-convert itong given na to sa isang unit na centimeter? Millimeter and centimeter, they are different, right? Okay. So, ito, ang ginawa niya, start siya with a given. So, that is 125 millimeter. So, that's a given. Now, what is this? Ito na yung tinatawag natin na conversion factor. So ito, i-multiply mo ng conversion factor para mahanap mo ang katumbas niya into centimeter. We know that a conversion factor can give us, let's say, alam naman natin, di ba, na sa isang sentimetro na nakita natin dun sa illustration kanina, meron tayong 10 millimeter. Okay? Sorry. So that's the conversion factor. So, bakit ganito? Bakit hindi natin sinulat na 10 mm divided by 1 centimeter. Kasi kailangan natin itong makancel unit na to, taas, ito, baba, para matira yung units na hihingi sa problem. Okay? So therefore, the unit for our final answer is centimeter, which is being asked in this problem. Okay? Again, itong 1 divided by 10 na to, galing to, alam na natin to initially because we know that the conversion of centimeter to millimeter is this one. Okay? So we call this as conversion factor. So 125 times 1, that is 125 divided by 10. So that will give us 12.5 as our final answer. Okay? So, yung form 1 yung ginamit natin dito kasi yun yung applicable dito para makancel natin yung millimeter. Okay? Now, but in this case, for number 2, we are asked now to compute for 35 centimeter and convert that to millimeter. Okay? So, take note again, nag-start siya with the given and multiplied by a conversion factor. Take note, yung conversion factor dito naman is baliktad naman dito. Okay? Because yun nga, kailangan natin i-cancel yung centimeter by centimeter para matira yung unit natin na millimeter. Okay po. So, 35 times 10, that's 350 divided by 1. The result is 350. Okay, take note, in this case, we use factor number 2. Because the desired unit now is millimeter. This is different from the desired unit of example or the first example. Okay? So I hope you can still follow on that. Okay. So now for activity 3.1, so you will now apply your learning. Okay? So ito, binigay naman yung conversion factor, di ba? So alam natin sa isang week meron tayong 7 days. 7 days is equal to 1 week. 1 week is equal to 7 days. Okay? Kahit balik-baliktarin mo yan, parehas yan. Okay? So the form 1 is 7 days divided by 1 week. The form 2, we have 1 week divided by 7 days. So ito lang yung gagawin mo with the boxes provided here. Tama? So, ito lang. Halimbawa, gawin natin to. Example, 1 cm is equal to 10 mm. So, our conversion or the first form or conversion factor is 1 cm divided by 10 mm. Okay? Baliktarin mo lang yan. That's your form 2. Okay? And apply that in the remaining item. You can now answer activity 3.1. That's how simple the activities are for this major. Okay? So, other examples, other items are provided in your module. Okay. So, for activity number 3.2, okay, you're not actually after with the conversion factor. Here, you will convert. Okay? So, meron na tayong actual conversion na mangyayari. For example, we have 250 millimeters to meters. Okay? Ilan ba ang katumbas ng ilang metro ba meron sa 250 millimeters? So, examples are given here. For example, we have 125 kilograms. How many grams is that? Again, kailangan natin mag-start ng given. Parati siya ha. Kailangan mag-start ng given. And then, mag-multiply tayo ng conversion factor. Alam naman natin, para makancel itong kilogram, kailangan natin maglagay ng kilogram dito. Okay? So, meron naman direct conversion, di ba, na alam natin na for every kilogram, that is 1,000 grams. So, since na-cancel na to, yung matitira is yung hihingi sa problem na grams. So, just multiply the 225 times 1,000 divided by 1, the answer is 125,000 grams. Okay? Dito naman, meron tayong unit na maliit, ginawang kilogram, na mas malaking unit, diba? Ang nangyari lang dito is, binaliktad lang ulit yung conversion factor para ma-cancel out yung grams, ang matira is grams. So, So 275 times 1 divided by 1,000, the result is this one. Okay? So, ito lang yung gagawin nyo sa 3.2. Kailangan nyo lang magpakita ng kompletong solution or solution, okay, para patunayan na tama yung sagot nyo. Okay? So, just do that for the rest of the items. Now, for self-test 3.1 naman, you are to convert the following values to the desired values using conversion factors. Okay? So, ito din, okay, may conversion pa din na mangyayari, but take note, you're only asked to provide here the answer. Okay? For example, sa 90 days ba, ilang months meron? Sa 20 milligrams ba, ilang centigrams meron? Sa 12 kilometers ba, ilang meters meron? Sa 5 minutes ba, ilang seconds meron? And sa 60 meters, ilang millimeters meron? Okay? Okay. Now, in the metric system of measurement, you need also to be acquainted with this prefixes po. Importante itong malaman. Okay? Meron tayong mega, kilo, hekto, deka, deci, centi, milli, micro. Actually, marami pa. Marami pa. If you will try to search on Facebook, marami pa yan. Meron pa yung giga, okay? Meron pa yung maliliit na nano, pico, okay? But in our case, we will just limit here to this 8 prefixes po, okay? So, these are metric system po na ginagamit in terms of System International or the SI units. Okay? So, importante makabisado nyo itong metric system para malaman nyo kung paano maglalagay ng mga conversion factor. Okay po. Okay. So, for example, kilo means that's 10 raised to 3. Mega, that's 10 raised to 6. Kilo, 10 raised to 3. Hecto, 10 raised to 2. Deca, that's 10 raised to 1. Deci, 10 raised to negative 1. Centi, that's 10 raised to negative 2. Milli, that's 10 raised to negative 3. Micro, that's 10 raised to negative 6. Okay? So, take note, if you will try to come up with, tawag dyan, kung ipa-plug in dito sa calculator, di ba? Let's say 10 raised to 2. That is equal actually to 10, dalawang 10. That's 10 times 10. So, the result is 100. Okay? So, parang, yun din yung explanation kung paano meron ditong 100. Okay? So, 10 raised to 3, that's 1,000. 10 raised to 6, that's 1 million. Okay. So, importante to, kabisaduhin maayos. Okay? Kasi importante to. Say, for instance, we have 1 kilo. Okay. Dahil meron tayong 1 kilo, that 1 kilo is equivalent to 1,000, let's say 1 kilogram rather. That 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 gram. Okay? So, itong gram na to wala siyang prefix, right? Pero pag naglagay tayo ng kilo, that denotes na meron tayong 3 zero. So that's what we mean by 1,000 there. Okay? So, for example, meron tayong 1 hectogram, that is just 100 grams. Okay? So, for example, 1 megagram, that is 1 million gram. So, that's the logic in that case. Okay? So, just like that, here, we have the unit of length. Meron dito na provide, diba? So, 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter, 10 centimeter is 1 decimeter, 10 decimeter is 1 meter. So, ito po actually galing to doon sa system of measurement na yan. Okay? So, 1,000 milligrams, that's 1 kilogram. 1,000 grams, that's 1 kilogram. Okay? Okay. So, importante malaman nyo lahat ng concept in terms of conversion factor. Okay? Kaya importante yun. So for example, we have 35 grams to kilogram. Okay? So meron ditong solution na provide. Siyempre, magsa-start ka with the given, that's 35 grams. Okay? And try to multiply that with a conversion factor wherein itong part na to makakancel. Since hinihingi is in terms of kilogram, kailangan mo malaman ang conversion factor na meron kang may lalagay dito sa taas-baba wherein the conversion factor is 3. Okay? Let's say kasi pwede din, di ba, na let's say sabihin natin na 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 gram. Okay? Or pwede din ang conversion factor natin dito is the other way around. Wherein, di ba, let's say, pabaliktad, okay, na sa isang gram ba, okay, ilang kilogram ba meron? So, sa isang gram ba, ilang kilogram ba meron? Okay? So, actually, gagalaw ka lang ng tatlo pabalik. So, that's 1, 2, 3. So, that will give us 0.001. So, ito na yung conversion factor mo na ilalagay sa taas. That's 0.001 kilogram divided by 1 gram. Okay? Actually, kahit alin gamitin mo sa dalawa, that will result to this answer po. Okay? So, the only concept na gusto ko lang palitan dito is kailangan ma-provide mo lang yung tamang conversion factor para makuha mo yung tamang answer. Okay po? Okay, another example is provided in your module. Just study that example. Okay? Ito na po. As to this activity, just change the given unit to the desired unit. So for example, we have 0.75 meter, convert that into centimeter. Okay? So do the rest of the items, measurements lang to. Okay? Yung isa lang, measurement ng length. Yung isa, measurement ng mass. Another, length, either width. Ito naman, more on time. Okay? So para rest lang yan, they are measurements, but take note, from one measurement to another measurement, we can convert that, provided na we will be using an appropriate conversion factor. Okay? So, I guess natutunan na po kung paano yung pag-convert ng one measurement to another. Natutunan na kung paano kumuha ng area, kung paano kumuha ng volume on different shapes and figures. Okay? Just familiarize with all the formulas, all the conversion factors po. Okay? And memorize the table for the metric system. Okay? And that's all. I hope na na-pick up nyo yung topic natin for the 2 weeks. Again, you will be given two weeks for you to finish the module, the third module. Anyway, para mabigyan din kayo ng time para makapag-aral pa ng iba pang reference in terms of measurement. Okay? Kasi, you know naman, in terms of conversion, medyo mahirap siya kapag hindi mo pa kabisado yung mga conversion factor. Okay? So, I guess that's only enough for 2 weeks na ma-memorize nyo yung mga bagay-bagay. Okay? You can read more on in this topic, okay, by exploring other references and materials for measurement. Okay? So, see you on next meeting or next video lesson. If you have questions again, you may message me in my messenger account, or you can also comment your name and then your question in the YouTube comment section. Okay? Bye-bye.